It's been more than a year since CDPR released redkit and almost a year since I made the first video, so let's dive into some new mods and revisit a few that I might have overlooked last time. First, let's talk about the Witcher himself, specifically his armor. Witcher's cool set Rework and Balance aims to improve Witcher sets and make them unique and powerful in their own way. The Cat armor set is made more resistant, the Griffin armor increases stamina, the Bear armor turns Geralt into a tank, and the Wolf set received an overall increase to its stats. While this mod is super handy, it's mostly about the numbers. But don't worry, the next mod adds the visual improvements as well. In the original game, you can't tell which type of armor Geralt is wearing, since he does the same pirouettes regardless of the type of his armor, whether it's light or heavy. This mod adds different combat animation profiles for sword and armor combinations. Heavy armor slows Geralt down, making his sword swings feel more impactful and heavier. With medium armor, Geralt has the ability to perform spinning attacks, but he can't jump around like in the vanilla version. And light armor allows for quick and sharp attacks. The Fatality mod brings new logic to finishers. Now it relies on adrenaline points. The more you have, the better your chances of performing a finisher. You can see how this mod works with these oddly human-like dolls. As you can see, at the beginning of the fight, Geralt is low on adrenaline, thus there are no finishers. But the longer you fight, the more adrenaline you gain, meaning a higher chance of executing a finisher. By the end of the fight, finishers are performed almost every time. On its own, Beta series will make the game a bit too easy, since it buffs potions, decoctions, bombs and trophies. However, it pairs really well with the Primer mod, which I mentioned in my previous video. The goal of the Beta series mod is to give you a reason to actually use all of those potions you've crafted. Plus, it increases the number of bombs and decoctions you can carry. Even though the last mod tweaked trophy rewards, I believe this mod does it better. Now, rewards from a monster's trophy reflect the nature of that monster. For example, if you take down a poisonous creature, you'll gain some poison resistance. Tackling larger monsters boosts your attack power. Nature-related monsters give additional herbs bonus, and the list continues. This is a next-gen port of one of the older mods. It adds 3 new tiers to mutagens: Master, Legendary and Unique. Plus, the mod is also compatible with yellow mutagens, bringing the total to 12 new mutagens. Thanks to this mod, you'll have a reason to collect and upgrade mutagens even as you progress further into the game. Botanist makes collecting herbs a much easier task. It shows 3D markers for the herbs you've discovered and can even place pins on your map. All of the features are fully configurable to your taste. Don't know about you, but I haven't used the Grindstone or Workbench much. Usually I just forget about them. With this mod, you probably won't rely on them either, since it now levels up your gear instead of just giving it a temporary boost. But I think it's a smart and convenient change, because you won't be intentionally looking for a Grindstone or Workbench, although you're still gonna use them and feel the impact as long as you're carrying the stuff you upgraded.
I'm Batman.
I know that Geralt in a Batman suit looks ridiculous, which is exactly why I included this mod in the first place. And if you say this armor doesn't fit in the game setting, you're absolutely right. That's where the alternative version comes into play. That's how the medieval Batman would look. An armor that looks like it's made out of potato sacks. And it seems like those potatoes are still there. Let me know in the comments which Batman armor you prefer. Just a head up though, after trying out these Batman outfits, I ended up with corrupted save files. So make sure to back up your saves before using mods. Any mods, not just these two. Spot the difference. One of these armors is the Viper armor, while the other is the default Kaer Morhen armor. Actually, they are both default armors, but that doesn't change the fact that they both look identical. That's the reason why I added this mod to the list. Now, its design is similar to the latest armor set, and with this appearance, you actually look like a Viper School graduate. You might not really care much about this mod, but I like how the author has changed the colors here. Now it looks more like a medieval style, so I included this mod in my list.
You just made the list!
Also, I couldn't ignore this redesign as well. Just look at this GigaChat Geralt. My toxic masculinity is rising just by looking at this armor. And the bear print on the back? Ooh, it's a solid Witcher set for sure. There's only one word that gets many players excited, no matter age or gender, and that is immersion. And there's no immersion without basic needs such as hunger and thirst. You can configure many options, but in general, with this mod, Geralt gets hungry and thirsty in a couple of real-time minutes. After that, you'll be punished by reduced attacking damage, increased receiving damage, and other similar stuff. Hunger and thirst have different stages, which determine the severity of a punishment. The palace in Toussaint is enormous, but unfortunately we can't get inside. So let's enhance this place with a mod called Full Access to an expanded and book-accurate
Full access to an expanded and book-accurate Beauclair palace in Toussaint,
which unlocks the interior. Right now it's not super useful since there's not much to do, but at least you can wander around almost the entire palace and check out some fancy areas. Oops. Yeah, no wonder it was closed. Another place that we could enhance is the legendary Kaer Morhen. What this mod does is basically add stuff from Corvo Bianco. Inside the fortress you'll find plenty of bookshelves, alchemy tables, swords and armor stands, and of course, a bed. Now Kaer Morhen feels like a place you could actually live in. Roach's ability of teleportation is not a bug anymore, it's a feature. The immersive horse summon adds a touch of logic to the game by using an actual portal to summon Roach. In Vizima, Yennefer hands you a magical bracelet, along with a note explaining how to use it. After that, Roach won't just magically appear near Geralt, he'll actually create a portal thanks to his new bracelet. I always liked how the runes on the sword look, but inspecting it was painted. But with this mod, I can finally inspect any sword with only the press of a button. It's not the first and definitely not the last mod that changes Witcher sense, but I like this one for its configurable side. You get to decide what to highlight and what to ignore, whether it's doors, barrels or posters. You can easily toggle them on or off. We've talked about many mods so far, but what's fresh in Gwent? Since Gwent is pure perfection, all that people make for it are new card skins, mostly not safe for work. But I stumbled upon Gwent Medieval, a fantastic mod that transforms all the original images into stunning 13th century artwork. The creator of Gwent Medieval also applied the same artistic touch to the journal and bestiary sections. Instead of the usual 3D renders, monsters are illustrated based on historical beliefs. Character portraits also changed their style. Now you'll see sketches inspired by book descriptions and art influenced by the game. These mods make it look like all those articles were taken from an actual ancient witch's book. Progress on the path is an incredibly handy tool that helps you keep track of the quests, locations, items, and all sorts of different stuff throughout the game. This mod is a must-have if you want to make a 100% walkthrough of The Witcher 3. We're lucky to be alive, because it's a historical moment. Let me introduce to you the next-gen textures for the next-gen Witcher 3. The mod that helped The Witcher to become next-gen has finally received its own next-gen update. 12 GB of textures will turn your next-gen Witcher into The Witcher 3 next-gen edition. All jokes aside, a tremendous amount of effort has gone into this, and it's definitely worth a look, even though sometimes it's hard to notice a difference. Now let's talk about the new plot content. The Price of Neutrality is a mod that adds a few quests into the game. It tells a story about the girl Deidre who was born under the Black Sun, and the sorceress Sabrina Clavisik, who is convinced that the girl is cursed. And of course, Geralt has to solve this conflict, all thanks to Eskel. Originally, it was created by the CDPRs themselves back in 2008 for The Witcher 1, but fortunately this adventure was ported to The Witcher 3. To complete the story, it'll take you a little over an hour, maybe less. I wasn't exactly sure whether to add this mod on the list or not, since it's still a work in progress. There are only a few quests available, the characters lack in voiceover, and it's a bit buggy. However, what really excites me the most is the new location, a big new map of Sintra. The creator of this project promises us 25 hours of gameplay, 20 quests and voiceover in the future. This is definitely a project I'll be keeping an eye on. I believe in its potential, as long as the author does not abandon the project. The Spider and the Wolf mod doesn't feature a voiceover either. But aside from that, it's a fantastic adventure that kicks off like a typical Witcher job, but the more you investigate, the more complicated events are uncovered. Completing the story will take a few hours of your life, but I'm sure it is worth it. Also, I'd like to recommend not installing these 3 quests at once, and don't install them with the mods that were presented in this video, because one time I broke the game by having all these mods at once, and the other time everything worked well. So it's best to have one quest at a time, or install them at your own risk. If you made it to the end, drop a pregnant man emoji in the comments. Let's use it at least once. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.